Ready? Ready, Freddy? Ready, Freddy? Mountain slippers.
Yeah, it's just very lodgy.
Dude, Value Village, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, they hurley.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
They're pretty sick, though.
Nice.
Keep me show. Fuck. All right, ready, boys?
Ready?
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right, boys. Back with round 2.
Yeah.
So
Round 2.
That means the first experience wasn't too bad, right?
Yeah.
No, we made it back.
And we were checking on the way up, so this is the most viewed episode so far.
Is it?
How does that
Nice.
feel?
Wow.
Feels good. I mean, I
Good.
keep seeing people sharing it and that it keeps popping up. So it keeps coming across my news feed now and then. So we did something right.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So how, like, a year in now, like tell me about the experience about being in the hospitality, because we talked about that at first as you were just getting into it and it was more like about the building and all that. Now you've got a year under your belt. How was that?
It's been good, honestly. Learning a lot, obviously, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of a new thing, but there's a lot of passion attached to the business and what we offer. We're here often, so it's been fun. Definitely a lot of learning, for sure, right?
Yeah.
But the guests, the people that we attract here are like, a lot of people are like, oh, Airbnbs are short term. There's always something. They break this. The cabins haven't really, like, people respect the brand and the cabins, and it's so it hasn't been that challenging on that point, which is great. I always thought that short-term rentals would be challenging for
Always fixing
on that,
stuff,
right? Fixing
and,
maintenance, or because I deal with the long-term stuff too. So it's like, but it's been super good, and Mars built some great systems too, so it automates it.
Okay.
We have great people on the ground as well. Lisa's awesome.
She's the cleaner, right?
Yeah, caretaker here,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
she takes care of everything. So yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, like we couldn't do it without a great team around us. But what I feel we've learned is the ebbs and flows of this type of business.
Yeah.
We're still learning. Right now, we're just looking at maximizing and filling in kind of the cracks of vacancy. So like weekends are pretty booked up, but now it's like, how do we get people here during the week? But one thing that I think we've learned is how preparation is everything.
Yeah.
So if you want to offer a 5-star experience or something remarkable, which I believe we've achieved, it's a lot of it has to do with being prepared ahead of time, anticipating, and then when it comes go time, it's about tweaking. It's not about reacting or getting caught flat-footed. It's about saying, all right, well, how can I do this better?
Right.
I didn't see this coming, so I'll fix it this way. But yeah, it's been a pretty steep learning curve, because we went from Airbnb only, and then we switched to another reservation platform.
Oh, no way. Okay.
And then within 2 months, gave up on that one and implemented a third one. So we're still implementing and learning with like the communications, the check-in experience, the guest portal, the things to do. So we keep building and stacking. So that's kind of been the year so far, is like settling into the space and our offering, but also just kind of keep building.
What platform have you switched over to now?
So right now we're with HostAway.
Okay.
They've been fantastic. So they handle everything from our smart locks are all sent out automatically. The schedules are automatic. All of our messaging.
Okay.
And what it also does is it unifies all of our calendars. So whether we input a reservation manually for, let's say, booking a shoot like this, or somebody books on our website or books through Airbnb, we have one centralized place where all our messages get sent out, and the calendars are all synced as well. So the availability on Airbnb reflects our actual overall availability.
Okay, right.
And we can select messages based on, okay, well, if you're checking into the pod, your instructions are going to be different than if you're checking into this cabin.
Okay.
Now we have campgrounds, so your check-in instructions for the campgrounds in the summer are going to be different. Park here, do this, do that. So it's all about automations and sequences. And people seem to really love that.
Okay.
People seem to like knowing everything ahead of time. So for us, it also saves a bunch of time on being on our
Having to
phone all the
message
time and
someone,
like,
yeah.
oh yeah, that's how you turn on the oven, or that's how you turn on the fireplace. It's
Yeah.
like there's a cabin guide at the front door. It's all
Yeah.
in there. QR code, YouTube videos, instructions.
Okay.
So that's been a huge part of it not consuming our day to day.
Yeah, because there's a lot of like behind the logistics of having to manage just those little bits and pieces of like messaging someone, giving the instructions, all that. I don't think people realize how time consuming that can actually be.
Oh,
And
yeah.
plus, it's a distraction on the other things that you're doing, right? So that
Sure.
constant disruption,
Yeah.
like it can be a hindrance on your day, right?
Yeah, and we're an hour's drive. We're both an hour's drive away,
Yeah,
so that's
right.
been huge. Like we prepared ourselves for like, hey, we got to make sure we don't have to just come up here all the time randomly.
Yeah.
But once we found Lisa, like our first employee,
Yep.
and like super champ, she lives just a mile down the road.
Okay,
So
okay.
she's thankfully, where we can stay connected with her throughout, and she's been very, very helpful in last minute stuff, saving us a trip over, or bailing guests out.
Yeah.
Like we had for the first time ever a couple weeks ago, somebody showed up here and they couldn't get up the driveway.
Oh no way! We
They
were
had it-
thinking
they-
about
yeah,
that coming
first
up.
time though.
Oh, that's
First
good
time
because
that
that
we've
was
had an issue with the
Yeah.
driveway, which before, and again, that kind of piggybacks into like you always think one thing will be your issue in
Yeah.
business. Let's say you start
Yeah.
a business, like this is going to be challenging. You start the business, and then that's not even an issue, right?
Yeah.
So it's always like you just have to start, and then you'll figure out what the actual issues are.
Yeah.
But the driveway, like even my dad was like, "You guys are crazy building
Yeah.
a cabin.
Yeah.
You're like, maintaining that road is going to be impossible." And it's like, it's been pretty easy with the proper gear that we
Okay.
have. But yeah, first time we've had an issue with the driveway.
crazy.
And it was a front wheel drive with all season tires. So
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
okay. Well,
and
come
we,
on.
and
Yeah,
we
so-
warned them. We were like, hey, I was like, didn't you see the warning? And she was like, oh, my husband read the waiver and he doesn't read English, so he just kind of
Come on.
So it was really, when I heard that, I was like, okay. And then
Yeah.
then thankfully our parents, thanks dad, mom and dad, they were next door at our family's place. I was
Okay.
like, can you please give these
Pick 'em
people
up,
a
pick
lift?
'em up,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they had kids and
Right,
they were
right.
super grateful. They said they're gonna be back. They loved it. So it was a little bit. There's a lot of oh my god moments.
Yeah.
And then you kind of take a breath and you're like, okay, we can figure this out. And then you kind of move forward.
Because I remember like the first time we were like came up here, and it was while we were doing I think some filming for when you guys were building it.
Yeah.
And I was like, man.
And during
the winter, it's
construction,
gonna
the
suck.
road, we kind of just threw some
True.
large rocks and
Yeah.
stuff because but the large trucks weren't done coming up for deliveries or whatever, right? So we didn't want to finish the road, but then at the end, we cut the bank at the start and
Okay.
we kind of resurfaced everything with smaller crush stones.
Yeah.
So, and now we have the sander, the spreader, so we put so it's
Yeah, it's pretty grippy
The
coming
process
up here.
now is
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
copy
Yeah.
paste, and you've seen, you came up here with
No problem.
front wheel drive, is it? I think, and no
winter
issues, right?
tires.
Winter
Yeah,
tires.
winter
so-
tires.
but even that, right? Like Lisa had a Civic last year, all winter, and she came up.
True,
clean,
yeah, she would be,
right?
yeah.
So the whole winter, front wheel drive Civic came up. So,
Yeah.
I mean, pretty
Yeah,
mild
it's-
winter, but still.
But yes, but there's like
Ice.
these
Yeah.
ice
Ice.
storms are worse than a snowstorm. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
If there's snow, it actually grips, but if there's ice and it melts and then it freezes, it's the worst.
yeah.
So, like in terms of the experience that you have with on your end with going from like Airbnb to this new platform, like what would you say is like the biggest benefit that someone gets from Airbnb? Because I think now we're hearing a lot of people. I wouldn't say, well, yeah, I would say like, being more negative about the front facing experience of Airbnb, being like, well, it's not really that much cheaper than a hotel room,
Right.
and I pay cleaning fees, but then I also have instructions to like fold my towels a specific way and take out the garbage at a specific time and go pick up their dry cleaner. Like there's a lot of things like that
Yeah.
so like all that to say is is there a reason that you see that there's a benefit you're still on it, or what is the real benefit?
Airbnb versus, you mean
Like
Direct.
versus any other platform,
yeah,
right? Because I think
direct
you're
or-
still
platform
on
or
it,
like
right?
places to rent, like hotel.
Well, no, more like your experience on the back end. You're
Platform.
managing something. That this whole experience with to my knowledge, I've never been someone that's rented out from Airbnb, but it must be pretty built in and has some features that you are
The
obviously using, right?
Airbnb brings two things to the table. It brings a marketplace.
Okay.
They have their own market. So
Yeah.
there's people who, when going somewhere, that's their first place to look. Like instead of Googling for a place to stay, they literally
Just go on
Airbnb a
Airbnb,
place
right?
for a place to stay. I'm sometimes one of those people. So there's that. It creates a market of eyeballs.
Yeah.
And I think we got a lot of guests from, mostly outside of here, like
Yeah.
people Ontario. We had people from Germany, like Ireland,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think they're just coming to visit the Bay of Fundy or the area, visiting
Right.
family, and quick search on Airbnb. They're like, wow, this is the nicest place around, and
Yeah.
it's in my budget and whatever. So there's that, and also confidence.
Okay.
Like from the guy, like Airbnb is created and first and foremost for the host.
Okay.
So do you have like insurance? They're on your side if somebody breaks something, if you have to charge them because they ruined your pillow or whatever. Like send a picture. Yeah, they broke this. I want to charge them that. They pretty much got your back.
Okay.
So there's that. There's like that safety there, and also the trust from the consumer, right? Like they look at the star rating and they're like, oh yeah, these guys are 5-star. Like I know I'm getting a 5-star experience and product. So there's like just that trust. So, but we're getting more and more direct. So it's becoming a smaller and smaller part of our bookings.
Okay.
Because our brand is building its own reputation.
Right.
But I'd say it's still close to 50-50.
Okay.
So that would be why we started there and why we still use it, because it's a marketplace, and technically you can kind of like even increase your price on Airbnb and like still even it's a good platform. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel the same way?
Yeah. No, I think as we travel quite a bit, and it depends kind of what type of experience you're looking for as well,
true.
right? As a renter,
Yeah.
you're not renting an Airbnb to be kind of in and out, right? You're there to experience the place, so it's kind of and there's also the, like when you travel in another country or whatever, right? Or far from where you're from, there's that security with Airbnb. You just feel comfortable. It's like,
True.
right? Renting from a private Marriott's hotel or Hilton.
Yeah, right.
Who do you feel more comfortable renting
Yeah.
from? And then when you're bringing your kids, or like if there's an issue up a mountain, are they going to be there for me, right? So Airbnb brings that before the brand is built, right? So it's your initial, and they ask all the proper questions when you're building the amenities and you're offering. So then you can translate that into your website for direct booking. And also it gives you 2 tiers of price, right? Like Airbnb, but then people, your friends
direct,
or whatever,
right?
like, hey, can I
Yeah.
just book with you direct? It's like you can, and here, whatever, right? So it offers like we had guests from New York, from all over this summer visiting Fundy and the nearby. I wouldn't expect them to just go on our website and book this place up a mountain. Yes, I think the brand is slowly starting to speak for itself, and Google, which we have, marketing and stuff in place. But Airbnb is like it's kind of like a thing. Like, are you doing a resort or are you Airbnb-ing?
Right.
It's like it's one or the other, right? So I don't know.
So when it comes to this other platform, this one would be like one that's more like, is that one directly just from your website, or does it have kind of a hosting capability as Airbnb?
Yeah, exactly. So it has its own hosting engine. So like when you click book now on our website, you go to HostAway's engine. And it has like APIs, so you can basically plug it in. So we're actually currently working in having that booking engine integrated directly in our website.
So it's all
so then we can
branded.
track and then we can track all the conversions. Because right now, you know,
you're
you would know,
right.
all our conversions are happening off-site.
Right.
So it, with the pixels and anyways, all that good stuff. It'll help, but HostAway is built for businesses like us. And I also wanted to mention with Airbnb, like, to your point, I feel Airbnb has kind of been watered down from an experience perspective
Yeah.
because I think there's too many people who buy or inherit a chalet,
Yeah.
throw some dishes in the cupboards, you know,
Not
barely
enough
put a coat of
dishes.
paint,
Yeah.
and they just rent it. And there's and there's a lot of that around in this area and everywhere.
Yeah.
But we priced ourselves out of that market.
Yeah,
We
for
are
sure.
decidedly not that. So so I think when people come here, they see the price, but then they also see the ratings and the value, and then they can make an informed decision on, all right, these guys have like figured it out. It's even on, like, it's one of the first things you see on our website. Relax, we've thought of everything.
Yeah.
So that's kind of our thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
as inconvenient as that is, and our dad continuously reminds us of this, is like, we do a lot of things that are annoying for us and a lot of work for us and our team,
right.
including our dad. So thanks, Dad, for all your hard work.
Thanks, Dad.
But it's what makes our brand our
Yeah.
brand. It's what we're hoping will bring people back time and time again and spread the good word. So Airbnb has that, like, I'm gonna rent it because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, we kind of did the opposite and said, we're just gonna charge twice as much as most people in the area and try to attract the right people.
And I think it's the, like, obviously there's pros and cons of doing it specific ways on Airbnb, but I think it's a good approach in a sense where if you're going on Airbnb, like you were saying, it's about the experience, not just the ins and outs. You almost, I think, you almost have to give that extra experience where it's about thinking, like, the host has thought about everything, versus in another sense to where you were saying with the watering down, it's like when you go to those, like, you go to a big apartment block and there's, that's the Airbnb you're staying in, but while you were searching on Airbnb, or like it's that same block. And then when you go in it, it's like, well, the pictures were probably taken before anyone ever stayed in it. And by the time you get there, it's not really all that
Good
nice.
photography.
But the ratings take care of that too. Like the ratings
true.
on Airbnb too, like people, the way that it works, right? You don't see the other person's rating before you rate them.
Yeah.
It just keeps everybody honest, right?
Yeah.
So that's a great tool as well, and it brings confidence to the people to book.
And like, just to continue on Airbnb for 2 seconds, the other thing that I didn't realize until I ventured in different platforms is like they're all kind of anchored in Airbnb and how Airbnb does it. So like even our host away, like our direct booking, all the descriptions and all the details, they're pulled from Airbnb.
Okay.
So basically the first thing you do is you connect your Airbnb account, it pulls, it creates, it recreates it duplicates your listings, and then you just can tweak them, and there's certain things you can do here and can't do there. It's a solid baseline for anybody looking to get into short-term rentals. Like, Airbnb is a great get to know the landscape platform. And then if you're looking to improve your margins or do things at scale, or in our case, build a brand beyond an address, like beyond an asset with an hourly rate or a daily rate, you're gonna because Airbnb provides none of that for us. No branding, right? Like, other than our name Stoke in the, like, Stoke Luxury Cabin 1, that little word Stoke and welcome to Stoke and here's what we're about. There's no logos.
The biggest
there's no
thing, I think, is just the ecosystem of Airbnb, right?
That's right.
Everything's real. Like, the real reason you'd go there, it's like, well, it's everybody goes to Airbnb to book anything, right? You start like, you'd be stupid not to have your place on Airbnb,
especially that you can do both with a platform like HostAway.
That's
right. And a lot of people do just straight Airbnb. It's just that is their ecosystem, and they do very well.
Do you find like, in terms of when you look at your bottom line, we don't need to really discuss the numbers, but like, do you feel that you, like, there's obviously cost that they take from the overall price that you charge? You feel that it's a fair value for the services or the amenities you're getting from their platform? Or do you feel it's like, at the end of the day, there's pros and cons to it. We're definitely, it helps us with our booking part, but man, they fleece us with
They take less from us than the client, so
Okay,
there's that,
right.
right? I think it's like I forget the math, but I think it's 10% overall. I think it's like 7% to the guest and 3% from the
Okay,
host. So
okay,
like
right.
the client pays most of the
Yeah, like the service
of the
fee.
fees.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's
it's
like an
totally
insurance
worth it.
almost. Like when you need them, they're there, and it's
Yeah.
great that you went through Airbnb.
Yeah.
But also, it opens up the ecosystem and the eyeballs, like you said, to like when you're starting, like when we started putting it on Airbnb, definitely put a lot
Oh
of
yeah, yeah.
right
It, it
eyeballs on the
Yeah,
product.
and it's a system, like we only had to learn the one system. And also like when you book direct, it just causes a bit more friction because all of a sudden, well, because we're not backed by Airbnb, we're concerned about damages. Like these windows are
Right.
not cheap if anything were to happen significantly. So we have to grab huge security deposits on
Yeah.
credit cards, and people are calling us like, what's the charge on my card? I was like, it's just a security,
Right.
a damage. It'll be refunded as soon as we get back in the cabin and make sure there's no significant damage.
Yeah.
So there's like that extra layer of doing direct, but again, your margins are better when you're doing direct because you save,
Yeah.
that percentage.
It's a win-win direct, right?
Yeah.
We
Are
saved it.
are you when people are booking in, are you doing a lot of reviewing of like where they've stayed and the reviews that people have left on their profile? Has that been
It's at the beginning, yes.
Yeah.
But as we got a little more comfortable, with direct we can't. Like there's nothing.
Right, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. It's
But
just-
with
yeah.
Airbnb, usually if we get the opportunity, like if somebody requests a booking, like right
Yeah.
now we were auto booked. So
Right.
but you can set your parameters with auto book that you need a certain star rating and above,
Right.
etc. as a guest. But if somebody requests a particular booking, let's say, like sometimes instead of just book now, they send a request. Maybe they're new.
Okay.
Then we'll go and click and just see what's up. But more and more, we're just confident in Airbnb, and that if this person ends up being not the best of guests or something happens to happen during their stay, that Airbnb will come through. And there's all, and as you grow on Airbnb, you get more and more from them. Like once you're a super host, we are 2-time super hosts now. And, once you get volume, you get a dedicated service person. So
okay, that's cool.
as you scale, you get a little bit more from them.
Kind of a VIP treatment.
Kind of,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. In terms of like guests staying here, like what kind of feedback have you gotten? Like
Feedback from the guests, you mean?
Yeah.
Everybody liked it so far. The
5
feedback
star.
is 5-star
Okay.
so far. They're blown away by the structure and
Yeah.
the finishing touches to everything.
Yeah.
I think the piece of land that we have, the trails that we built, the information exchange, and
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
not
yeah.
left in the dark. They know how to operate everything. The speedy responses. Lisa's just up the road.
Cleanliness.
We used a lot of the local trades too. So like, we get quick service because
Yeah,
of
if
that,
something,
right?
yeah.
Everybody lives like the
Yeah.
plumber is literally across the street, which water when there's a water issue, obviously it needs to be addressed
That was nice.
quickly.
Did you get a water issue?
Oh yeah. That was probably one of
Yeah.
the bigger curveballs of the year for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
Water.
Just water,
Just
not
the well dried up, so we had
Well,
to do
we
another
went-
well. So
We had the cabin full, like rented out fully to one guest. Like a
Okay.
bunch of guys had rented it for the weekend, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Shower's not working." You're like, "What?"
No.
Yeah, no water. Oh man. So yeah, the well dried up. We didn't have water in a well. Like there
So
was
what do you
nothing
do in
coming
a
up.
what do you do in a situation like that?
Drill a new
Drill a new
well.
No way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
emergency
Emergency well drilling.
Yeah.
so
So that hurt our cash flow.
that was fun, yeah. But anyways, we got water back. We're good now. Actually, the well's a lot better, so produces more water and it's good. But yeah, up and mountain it's always tough with well drilling. It's right.
Yeah.
You can either hit a vein super close or So
Or then something.
We're lucky
never
to
know.
have good water too. Like
water's
there's
good,
no
yeah.
sulfur, there's no smell to it,
Yeah.
no taste. And right
That's
now,
solid.
knock on wood, we have plenty of it now. So
Okay.
yeah, second well seems to be working well.
I wouldn't want to be like a bunch of guys in here, no shower.
No water.
Yeah,
stuck
for the
here
whole
for 3
weekend
days.
there.
Yeah.
Gotta wash in the hot tub.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, towel off.
Now, if it's my understanding that these won't be the only structures that are here. You're looking to expand and build more of these structures here. Now, obviously these are your V1s, right? In your V2s, are there anything that are looking to improve, like whether it's layout, the structure, anything?
As far as the quality and the product, we're gonna keep the same. No,
Yeah.
not the product, but the quality we're
Yeah.
keeping, right? Luxury cabins for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But we are changing models and different kind of offerings, right?
Okay.
Like the fourth cabin here will be a full bedroom, and you can sleep four in it, right? So
Okay.
we'll have a 2-person, 4-person, and 6-person
Okay.
cabin. We have the campsites now.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking to diversify the product. So
Yeah.
depending how much you're booking with, or if you're a large family, or you want to book with friends, or you just want to come alone, you can kind of select the product that fits your needs
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Couple other things we're looking to incorporate into the whole resort experience. So, we're looking to get into the corporate side of things. So
Okay.
to
Yeah.
fill up the weekdays, right?
Corporate retreats.
Like a common
Yeah,
area,
yeah,
so like a
yeah.
meeting room, common area, game room style if it's a family,
Yeah.
and a big chalet we're looking at. So a couple different options, different spots we want to build.
Yeah.
A little village, we call it. So a lot of things in the pipeline, but
Yeah.
it'll all be different experiences. So you
Yeah.
can come at the version 1, like you said,
Yeah.
the Stoke cabins, experience this. You can go to the pod, just you and your girlfriend, or just yourself.
Yeah.
Spend a quick night from Poli, sleep there, go back, or the quad pod, which you can sleep 4. You have a full bedroom, so if you have small kids, you can actually close the door and spend the rest of the night in the living room, sleep on the couch, let
Yeah.
the kids sleep in the bedroom, which offers a little bit of a different experience. So
Yeah. Thinking also, we have a big field in the back here, so we're thinking of doing like more of a village style thing. So a couple
Okay. Yeah,
small
yeah.
cabins
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of close together.
Yeah.
more
Very
community
big
based, like
Yeah.
communal fire pit, so everybody kind of assemble. Like, one of our big missions is connection here, right?
Right.
At Stoke, we're about connection, so connecting to nature, which is why we don't have, like you feel like you're outside,
Yeah.
even if you're inside. You're connecting to nature, you're in the rhythms of nature, but also connection in between people. Like these cabins, it sleeps 6, but there's no bedroom. Like it's one
Right.
big open space. You all
Right.
sleep together.
Yeah.
So connection is a big thing. So, and there's also a reason we only have one fire pit outside for both cabins. It's
Right.
meet
So
your
you
neighbors, go have a
Yeah,
bonfire,
yeah,
like
yeah.
have a drink.
Yeah.
It's what we're about,
Yeah.
We made so many great connections in our experiences, coming up in this area,
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
included, all
Yeah.
the crew back in the day, and
Yeah.
even when we had our trailers next door, building our camp, like we've had some good times there, and
Yeah.
it's something we want to kind of offer to other people.
Yeah. Kind of replicate that
That
experience,
book,
right?
we have people who book the entire resort, so then it's like, hey, the resort's yours.
Sweet.
Invite who you want. You want to have some tents in the field or whatever. You have somebody with a van who wants to come up. Yeah, like
the pod's a good. A lot of people will rent the cabin and the pod.
Okay.
They'll spend the time here,
And then you
just
can
go sleep at
the
the
extra-
pod, just like an extra
yeah.
bedroom.
Yeah.
So we have those packages too, like the 2 cabins and stuff like that. So
book more than one and save. Kind of have group
Okay.
group pricing.
Yeah. Okay. What about? I guess the one thing that I always was curious about how everybody feels with that experience is the ways up here. Like, have you had feedback on that?
The
'Cause
stairs?
I find it's like
The stairs?
Yeah.
The ship ladder?
Yeah. Like, has
we've
that been
had
something that? Because for me,
two-
I can go up it. That's no problem. But I'm thinking like,
What is not surprising, but what has come back a couple times is mostly with older guests, and is going down at night to go to the washroom.
Yeah.
So it's dark. It's you kind of down a ladder.
Yeah.
So people felt with mobility issues or balance or age, we've had a bit of feedback that like, hey, like those stairs are not ideal.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, we say thank you for the feedback. We appreciate that. We realize, what it is. But behind the scenes, we're respectfully just like, we understand it's not for everybody. Right.
And there is an option.
There's
to sleep.
you can sleep down.
You can pull out that couch, a queen size bed.
Yeah, we made sure the
so-
pull-out couch is as comfy. So we have guests who choose not to go upstairs and they just stay in this area.
Yeah, it is a pretty steep fall.
Yeah. You don't.
Yeah,
Just
hard to
and you
what
have
I,
to bring
and
your
what I
bags up.
see often when I'm here with other people, they go down the stairs frontwards.
Yeah.
right, which is
My
yeah.
dad always taught me, not step one, turn around,
Yeah.
both hands, then put your first feet, and then go down
Yeah.
facing the ladder.
Yeah.
Like we've made really good railings and
We might
solid.
have to do an instructional on how to go down the ladder.
Well, we'll be doing.
There's
we'll
two
be,
handles. Turn around, then go down the same way as you went up.
Yeah.
Like, do you turn around before a ladder and go up?
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, you're not like backwards going up a ladder.
No, you face the ladder and you go up.
It's almost like the pre-flight airplane safety video.
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you do have to lug your bags up there too. So I think you know
Yeah.
if you have like this huge oversized
I was
bag,
thinking like putting a pulley, right? Like, put that on.
a ratchet,
Okay, unclip.
elevator.
Yeah, with like nice like rope, like climbing rope and beacon.
It would be cool if you had
be
like
kinda
a
fun.
like a
Teleportation.
pole that you could slide down though,
Yeah,
kind of like a bat pole.
Firefighter pole.
Yeah.
Maybe
Next,
in the
next version.
maybe
Yeah.
in the chalet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do like a
Version
more
2.
extreme version where it's like climbing wall to get up and then
Yeah.
and slide
Option
down.
1, climbing wall. Yeah.
Ah, that'd be sick. A climbing wall in the chalet. Climbing wall.
Yeah.
How is the like? Obviously, hot tubs are like super sick to have on in an Airbnb, and I think a lot of people they'll toggle like, oh, which ones have like a hot tub?
Sure.
And that. In terms of like the overall on your end, the experience of maintaining and all that, how, like, is it a pain or is it like whatever? It's pretty.
Lisa could answer that one.
Yeah, it's
We need
it's
Lisa
not
on the pod.
Yeah,
It's
Lisa.
we'll have her on next time. It's not like it is a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
It's a lot of work, but once you have it dialed in,
Yeah.
hot tubs are a lot about maintenance.
Right.
And what we've learned is like, okay, well, instead of like draining the whole water to refill it all up, like we just do half cleanses around. Because what happens with hot tubs is they get saturated, and then no more chemicals can get in,
Okay.
and then they don't work anymore.
Okay.
Then
So
drain
you
it.
have to get fresh water so that whatever you put in there to kill, the soap, body oil, whatever, everything that goes in a hot tub. Mostly it's the soap from people's bathing suits.
Right.
Because they wash them, there's soap in the fiber.
Okay.
The fiber gets in the hot tub, and then the oil on your skin, obviously. But, we have all the products, and now Lisa's all... like she's very used to it. We
Yeah,
monitor
she's
them
got a
every
system,
time.
right?
We have a checklist, right?
Yeah.
So it's like Lisa,
You've
make
seen
sure.
almost all the scenarios, like the water's
Foamy.
it's cloudy. Okay, well you put this. So it's
Right.
once you know, there's only a couple scenarios that happen to a hot tub.
Yeah.
Once you know them and how to treat them, it's pretty easy
Yeah.
to maintain. You just have to check them regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And most of our stays are 2 days. There's not often any 4 days or a week,
Okay.
which then that's where it can
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
the
they-
water
the
can go
guests
bad
aren't
and
gonna-
then
aren't gonna
to
tweak
switch.
it,
But 2 days the water won't go too bad. It's a quick
Yeah.
adjustment, and then
Yeah.
the next day the water's it's clear again. So
How, like, I know we haven't snowboarded all that much this year, but have you found it pretty convenient to be able to come here, snowboard, get into the hot tub, and
I have,
do all that,
yeah.
yeah.
not,
we
not
both
as much
have.
to me, but
Yeah.
we definitely use it. It's
I'll-
a reason to come up here and then snowboard since we're
Yeah.
here. I mean,
Yeah.
we're right there.
like for example, I brought my swim trunks.
yeah,
Like for later, if I choose to work from here this afternoon, I might go for a
in the hot
dip in
tub.
a snow dive.
Yeah.
Hot cold therapy. But it's cool. Like I've found myself going to Poli, and then if there's a cabin that's empty or that somebody checked out that morning, I'll kind of check in here. Or even Sunday, we had a dump of snow. Stayed on Sunday and woke up here Monday. So definitely it's cool that it gets us here. Like on Monday, me and Mario both went riding in the fresh snow. Like we had to clear the driveway and shovel all the decks and stuff. So we knew we were here for the morning regardless. So we brought our boards and we went riding. So it's cool that it brings us here at the right time when it's snowing as well. So it's
The coolest part that I find with this, it's a family business, right? Like my dad's finally super involved now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maintenance, and he's like, I can see that he's kind of liking it.
Okay,
You know,
yeah.
And then even like the new pod now, Colombe needs to buy all the furniture. So all right, we're designing it together, and she's so so we're all just working together, and we're always here talking. Just kind of brings us together more often. We're always talking almost daily about Stoke, the resort, the camp, whatever. So it's kind of fun for sure. It's It's a cool family business.
Yeah.
So one thing that I'm kind of curious about, and it's just more on the marketing side. Like, have you found it really beneficial? Because there's one video on TikTok that has like over
Oh
like
yeah.
300,000 to 400,000 views or something like
Yeah,
that,
the
right?
one of the first ones.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
the
yeah.
pod one?
I
Well,
think
it's one
so.
that kind of has like a drone
The
shot
drone
at
goes over the
first,
pod?
and yeah,
Yeah,
Or
it
does
just
it
yeah,
go in here?
it like zooms out of the
Yeah,
pod.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like how, obviously when people are they have a big following, and they're probably messaging you to see if they can stay there with some exchange of services and
Yeah.
all that. Like, has that been a very beneficial thing, or is it more the word of mouth? Like, what's
It's been a little bit of everything. Like we've definitely caught the eyes of a lot of content creators.
yeah,
We were also fortunate enough to like catch the eye of our province's tourism
yeah, tourism India,
department, and they're like, oh well, we have content creators coming through. We really love them to stay at your place,
Okay.
showcase what we have in this corner of the world. So it's nice to kind of be, how could I say it, like a statement piece.
Yeah.
So it opens up those doors.
Yeah.
And that was the goal. We wanted something world class, and now we're getting kind of world class attention, if you will.
Yeah.
So we're getting a lot of the really good content creators interested, and we're right now actually working with our marketing lead on kind of formalizing what our standard offering is
Okay.
for content creators. Like this is we
Gotcha.
usually do it's 2 days.
Yeah.
That's the equivalent worth. This is what we expect. We need so many reel shots,
Good.
stills, whatever. We want to collab post. We want this, that, the other.
Yeah.
But we've got a lot of our best content from guests
the
who've come
UGC,
through, like
right?
our hero shots.
Yeah.
Like, did you see the ones with the Northern Lights? Like
I did.
Alex,
Yeah.
Alex Mayberry,
That was unreal.
Alex and Paul.
Yeah.
Good following, super skilled dude.
Yeah.
He was stoked to come here. We were stoked to have him, and it just so happened that he landed here with the
the
Northern Lights, and the shots were incredible. So those collabs are great, and they give us great content. It gives us exposure. It's been a huge part of our marketing strategy. As far as followings, though, contests are have been our collab
Followers,
contests
for sure,
have been for straight up followers. Are they the right followers?
Yeah.
That's debatable.
Yeah.
But it's not like we've been having like huge fallouts after contests ended, because I think people are like, well, it's a pretty cool brand to follow.
Yeah.
But it's funny, we're not even on TikTok.
Yeah. Well, that's it, right? It's like,
We should, yeah. I'll talk to Emily about that.
Yeah.
We're cutting the
Doesn't get
clip. So.
banned.
Now, do you? I don't think it would get banned here, but we'll see how
Yeah,
that
Trump's
goes.
elected. We're good.
It's definitely going to change a bit now that there's obviously some theories behind it going dark in the U.S. for like only 12 to 14 hours, and then with the news of Trump coming in being like, well, the only way we'll let it continue in the U.S. is if you give us 50% of the company. So that going quiet and then coming back up, and there was a pop-up where it was like, oh, thanks to President Donald Trump, which at the time wasn't the president. It was like he put TikTok back in the US. So you're just thinking there, you're like, what's going on right now?
It's
like
propaganda is what it
right?
is.
Exactly, right? So
not to get into US politics.
But I was hoping we were going to get into it, but I guess you had to touch a little bit on that. Now, obviously, what I also kind of a follow up on that is what I'm wondering is, have you found that exposure there has directly increased your bookings?
Our bookings have just kind of steadily grown, and one thing we've also learned is seasonality is very much a thing in this neck of the woods.
Yeah.
I think our hope, like summer was crazy busy.
Yeah.
Then we had actually right up until end of October, like even through the fall was really busy because of
Fall here
the
would be
foliage and
unreal.
everything. People loved it. The hiking, it's perfect. But November, December was pretty quiet.
Yeah.
But then since December, like it's been pretty darn busy, and the next couple weeks is very busy.
Yeah.
Like as busy as we can be ish and manage with the cleaning and everything. But then there's a lull in the spring, and then summer's already booking. Like summer and fall, and even next New Year's is like people already
That's
booking
sick.
New Year's Eve ahead of time.
yeah.
Because I think people go and they try to find a weekend, they can't find a weekend. They're like,
That's
oh crap,
true.
weekends
Yeah.
are done. Well, then maybe Christmas is booked as well. So they're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
Yeah, what
book.
was it? It wasn't during Christmas. I saw a last minute cancellation. Well, I thought it was a last minute
Okay.
cancellation.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
like full refund. I'm like, Mars, what the hell is this?
Right.
Full
Full
refund
refund.
one day after. He's like, no, dude, that's 2026.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, damn. All right, cool.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's
So
fine.
somebody booked but canceled or whatever.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, man, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Systems guy, what the hell?
Yeah.
Systems
What
guy.
happened here?
What is this?
Well, I
But then
panicked
he's
too.
like, dude, that's 2026.
It's a year
It's
away.
like, oh, okay, cool.
That's cool to see though, because if you're,
Well, no,
if you're
2025, December.
yeah,
It was
24.
Christmas
Right.
25.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
that's
But
that's
so it's people are booking the
hey, they want to have like, obviously, whether it's
breaks or
their birthday, March break,
Yep.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like they're obviously seeing this as like, oh, this is a destination place I want to
And
go.
even
and
for
we're seeing a lot of
Christmas-
repeat people
Yeah.
coming back too, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
From last year to this year.
Okay.
And a lot of people reach out, they're like, oh, I want to spend Christmas there. Like, do you have a Christmas tree? Well, we went out and we bought Christmas trees and
Nice.
Christmas decorations. And we made it like a la Stoke there.
Yeah,
so it was a
yeah.
nice little tree so people could spend their Christmas here.
Little
And
Charlie Brown tree.
yeah, it was a skinny one and, a reef on the door. So basically little things, but, it makes it cozy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I think I guess this is going to shift towards Mars a little bit here.
Sure.
Unfortunately,
I'm just gonna take a pee break.
Yeah, I'm just going to go shovel a little bit, go into the
Yeah.
hot tub.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Be back.
You've kind of transitioned. You've done kind of a big career change, eh?
Yeah.
Or I guess still same career, but moved
Totally.
back into what you had started way back. So,
Yeah.
people that are watching this, some may know, but others,
So 6 years later, I'm kind of relaunching the financial advisory firm that I had kind of wanted to start after kind of parting ways with my longtime financial planning firm, Roy Burns and Associates, Alan Burns and Gary Roy. Worked there for 9 years, and then I kind of had a different vision, and I wanted to start Onvisor, which was kind of my kind of entrepreneurial version of a financial advisory practice. And then I got this really good job offer with Lewisburg Investments, went there and tried that for a bit. And then I kind of had that calling to do things my way. And I really am advocating for a change in how my business works and the offerings that are there. I kind of want to empower people. So I, after a couple conversations with my employer, I kind of decided to still keep working with them.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're still an investment partner of mine. I still work with Lewisburg Investments. They're great. It was a very friendly parting of ways.
Okay.
But I'm now freshly launching Onvisor, which is my own take on modern and kind of different financial advisory practice.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about like what's a person looking to gain advantage from specifically what you're doing with Onvisor versus your traditional
advisor,
yeah.
So I think the main difference is traditionally advisors see themselves or by default are kind of gatekeepers.
Okay.
And I feel like a product, whether it's an investment or insurance product or whatever, is kind of the highway to the knowledge that the advisor has, right? I find, and as you would know if you've been following me for a while, I've been 15 years of doing YouTube videos, educational content, blogs, and I've always wanted to take the power of knowledge and give it to the client, because I feel that's the way forward, and I think the knowledge will sell the product. So my whole mission is to educate and empower people. There's a lot of people who are existing clients, and I've been kind of educating them along the way. But Onvisor is going to be kind of an online program, or will have an online component. So whether somebody's a guest of mine or not, a client of mine or not, I will have an educational platform where somebody can get all the ABCs and the 101s of from budgeting and tools and everything they need to full-blown retirement planning frameworks of how to use an RSP, a TFSA. So I have kind of a framework that I want to digitize.
Okay.
So the whole thing with me and my practice is, first and foremost, I want the education piece to be there.
Yeah.
And then I kind of want to be if you consume the content and have questions on how to relate it to your situation, that's where I want to come in as a coach.
Okay.
Or as a client.
Gotcha.
If somebody's an existing client, the educational content is something that I'm going to use to scale myself. Like, I don't have to repeat RSP versus TFSA over and over thousands of times when I have a video online that I can just use and say, hey, watch this 20-minute video and let's get on a 20-minute call instead of each taking an hour meeting to discuss the very same thing. So Onvisor is about me providing more, like adding additional value as an advisor, sharing my knowledge, but also using technology to scale myself and build the lifestyle that I wanted. I'm needed here at Stoke. I'm, actively in the team at Stoke. And I want to be able to do both. So I'm kind of just setting up Onvisor so that I have the tools and the platform so that me as a current solopreneur can still manage my clients, deliver exceptional advice and service while scaling.
Yeah.
Right.
And plus the educate, like the foundation is there, and then you don't have to, like you say, in each meeting say the same things over and over.
Exactly.
And probably get tired of it too on your end, right?
And I've always been like, I posted a video of this about like people versus processes, and I believe in processes. Like we talked, and Mario talked a little bit about the process that I have with Stoke here, about the communications and when the messages come in and what we do. Like, while I've always wanted to do the same with financial planning, like start here.
Yeah.
Like fill these information, and then that's step one, and then there's a step two, and then step three. Well, with the course, and I have a couple coaching clients that I'm kind of walking through these steps with and getting feedback. It's great because now that I get to do it my way, the Onvisor way, even with the clients that I've been working for like years, I'm like, no, this is how I do it now. Like this sheet that I've had for 10 years that I've never had you fill out, like this is part of the process
you
now.
have to do it this way.
You have to look at your cash flow. You have to look at your net worth. You have to do the financial checkup. And then we'll use that as a foundational piece to the planning we've always been doing or going to continue doing. And I just love building those tools and kind of so it's nice to have control over the experience. And
it's cool too, because I think like just listening to you talk about it, you're obviously really passionate, but also you're obviously aware, and I think we're us three in the same room, is there's several people that are financially illiterate, that want to learn, that don't know where to start, and also our school system doesn't do it for us when we grow up, right? But you're seeing me, like your passion exudes, like I want to teach people how to not be stupid about their money.
Like I don't want to be the reason, like I don't want to be your path to knowledge. Like if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, I want my clients to be educated and aware, like what's next and how do I keep my stuff on track, right? Like, so that's my goal, is like, my goal is that you don't need me. But what I've learned from, coaches and stuff and programs is the more you do that, the more people want to work with you. So it's kind of a win-win, and it comes full circle. Give it all away or make it super accessible and affordable, but people are still going to seek you out for. So what's kind of nice is I'm starting to work more and more with the individuals that I want to work with, who are willing to engage and put in the work, as opposed to before I felt more like a traditional advisor where I'm expected to do all the work, and that doesn't pay. That doesn't pay as much dividends for the client as, hey, let's do this together. I'll be your coach, but you have to learn this stuff too. Right. So that's my approach.
And you'll see that there's some people that like they'll obviously pay for your time that will be more valuable with the asset that's your expertise, versus the same, the people that are just starting off that are paying the same amount of money, but at the end of the day, they're trialing it. You know what I mean? Like there's some people that are like, okay, great, I know the foundations, all of that. I just don't have the time to manage this in a specific way. And now that I've built a relationship with you, like you're the person I trust.
Right? And what's cool is that's where my business has lived this whole time. Like I need life insurance, you figure it out, tell me what I need and I'll buy it. Or I have this amount per month, or I sold my business, you take care of it. So that's still what I do. I'm just creating this other lane here gradually, because there's a lot of my clients who, I've been that guy, and I don't want to say the gatekeeper, because I've never not wanted to educate people and just say that's what it is because I say it's what it is. But you know, it's still what I do day to day for my clients is, you know, are you going to max out your RSPs? Are you not? This is why, whatever. That's still, but I'm just doing it for the people I want to work with, lighter client load, and I'm going to use it do it with technology to help enable me, because you know, I feel that, you know, nowadays there's a lot of technology out there that can help me, you know, replace what an assistant would usually do for me.
Right.
Like AI and tech can do a whole lot. All of my bottlenecks that I used to have before are all taken care of with technology. My online booking, my coaching platforms, my meeting summaries, my actionable items, all that stuff is all automated now, or getting automated. And even my investment platforms, like my investment partners, I have like two shelves. I have kind of Lewisburg, which is the, you know, more white glove personalized, you know, portfolio management. And then I have another very low cost, very basic automated ETF self-serve portal with Nest Wealth. So, you know, if somebody's concerned on fees, I can point them this direction. If somebody really likes the idea of having a team managing their money, there's this opportunity. So I like the idea of being kind of the quarterback for people. And I just know where to kind of putt the ball. If it's the accountant, the tax expert, the lawyer, whatever. I also play that role as, you know.
Do you take his financial advice?
I do.
What's the best piece of advice he's given you?
Ooh.
On
the spot.
I think it's on the spot. Jeez, are we still recording? I think, well, I don't know. We always talk about you know, financial and whatever, but I think something he just said that kind of just resonated with me. It's like you kind of have to map out your personal finances the same way as if you're running a business. Like if you don't know where you're going or where you want to go, you need to start there and then start planning, right? Or else you can throw money in an RSP, fine, right? But like, where do you want to go with that? Or are you, you know, could you put it somewhere else that would benefit you better? Like, you know, I found out where I wanted to be. I tried different things. I tried to invest on my own. I'll never do that again. Like I you know, focus on where I'm good at, and then I'll give the money to the expert to invest. But I split my investment.
You know where you're at.
Yeah.
Right?
You need to know where you want to go, and so like treat it as a sport, a business, whatever, right? Like you have a plan, you have a coach, you have somebody showing you
bouncing
the
ideas
right things.
too.
You can, but every person shouldn't be able to say where they want to go, right? Like, why do you want to learn money? Well, because there you are, right? And then kind of go backwards and then reverse engineer it and move forward afterwards, right? So
I also yesterday I just came up with this. I love analogies, and anybody who follows me knows this. But I think, you know, my new way to explain what I do is kind of like a guide, a mountain guide. I have the experience, I have the knowledge, I've spent the time, I've guided people through things, I've been through things, life experiences, startups, business, whatever. And I'm kind of like a guide. So when I go to the mountains, I know I don't have the experience, I don't know what the snowpack's like, I don't know how to, you know, I'm a novice when it comes to backcountry and avalanche danger and moving through the mountains. Well, when I go there, I hire a guide. Right. Because they have the experience, they have the training, they got certified. So I'm kind of like a money guide. A personal finance, or you know, personal advancement. You know, it can be a lot of what I talk about is business and family and personal stuff, right? I'm as much a counselor as I am a financial guru. It's really because the thing with money is it is personal. Like your emotional and personal baggage, your relationship with money is as much at play as Donald Trump winning an election and tariffs and the economy. Like, so you are, you know, I posted about this earlier, like focus on what you can control. and we can work on how to
make
manage
that
the
work,
rest.
right? Yeah.
Right?
I'm curious to get your thoughts on this because I have probably the most backwards thinking opinion on when it comes to retirement, and I'll explain it. Um, I've done as much as I can in my career to get myself to a point where I live comfortably now that I'm able to do, trips and have fun while still maintaining my bills and covering my expenses and all of that. But my only kind of the friction that I have with kind of the sound advice, and it's only because I guess my opinion is that some of the advice when it comes to retirement is very traditionally focused on like you want to build a retirement fund because at the time that you're starting that you might start building a family and you might get a house and then you want to think about your kids and their university and then so you're taking care of a lot of people and you're putting money aside so when they're out of the nest and you're not having to take care of those people all that much, you can then take a break and relax and then enjoy yourself. I have a difficulty with that because one is that I've not structured my life completely like that. Like I'm not thinking about the building a family thing and putting kids to university and all that right now. And that can change, right? And what I worry about today is that same advice that was, told to our parents and our parents tell that to us and so forth. And you've had education throughout that time is I'm not sure what the future is going to look like in 30 years from now. And also what I think looks really promising in a sense is the life that we'll be living in 30 years from now may not require that I have to stop working.
Yeah.
Right? I may not have to be that reliant on my body. I could be putting on some goggles, going into a virtual, this is like hypothetically speaking, but putting on goggles, going into a virtual job, making Bitcoin, and then taking my goggles off and I'm a 65-year-old man, but like I'm still working.
You're still
right?
earning.
Working. Still earning, right?
But I think that's where if you want to keep working, then you're doing it the right way.
Right.
If you want to stop working,
you got
do
to
it the
do
traditional way.
Right. Yeah.
So map it out. What do you want to do when your kids leave the house? In 30 years, what do you want to do? Yeah. I know what I want to do. Right. I want to travel. I want to bring my businesses to a point where I don't, it's running by itself. You know what I mean? So I don't need to. I'm building something I don't need to retire from. Right. Right. Mm-hmm. So retirement to me, same thing. It's not a thing for me. But I definitely don't want to have to be there. I don't want to have to clock in. Yeah. Because I'll probably be across the world somewhere else. Because I want to visit the world. So I know what I want to do. So I'm saving right now for in case. Right. So. Mm-hmm. And it's always a balance too. Like it's always invest first and then use the money you have left over. I always leverage my investments, right? So like my investments aren't saved and I can't use it. It's like fuck, and then I die in 10 years maybe, and then it's like oh well, good, it goes to my kids, but I didn't get to use it or my plan didn't work. So every investment I make I always try to, even my RSPs that I have saved up is leveraged against real estate that I invest in. Right. Mm-hmm. Everything that I do is like, it's not saved for nothing. I can pull it out or whatever, but it's kind of re-leveraged into keep growing the.
So it's just about,
it's so what you want to do.
Like it's a big reason that I started Onvisor as well is because I was looking down the road for myself. And I also know that I have an appetite for like a nomadic lifestyle. I've picked up sailing. We don't get much snow here anymore. I know I want to spend months where there's more snow and snowboarding, and I want to be able to work remote. And Onvisor, online advisor, is pretty self-explanatory of, I want to be able to work from wherever in the world and still connect with my clients and have even if my business is based out of Moncton, I want, to your point, and to Mario's point, you got to know to some degree what you want your life to look like, or at least feel like. Right. And again, it's not about a dollar sign. It's about what are you going to be spending your time doing, and then you can kind of reverse engineer it into what will that require. Right. But one of the things I implement in my planning with people is that I very rarely, and I'm not even sure I've ever done this, is deliver an actual financial plan.
Okay.
Because life changes.
Right.
Like if you would have talked to me 4 years ago, I'd have no idea that personally I'd be where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe I knew the resort was in the plans. Maybe I knew that I wouldn't stay at Louisbourg forever and whatever. Fine. But to know exactly where I'm at now and to know where I'm at now and where I have to be either from, catching up on lost time, etc., whatever. So I always do what I call bite-sized planning.
Okay.
Let's start with the first step. Let's do the financial checkup. What's your net worth today?
Yeah.
How are you spending your money?
Yeah.
And I also address different life phases. So to your point, people are saving up for kids' education, and then that's done, and that liberates cash flow for them, and then they can live a little bit better and more comfortably. Yeah. The way I combat that in my planning, in my education, in my course, is I introduce this notion of a build ratio. And a build ratio is after you've done your cash flow, you address how much of your cash flow is going towards building your net worth. So how much are you throwing towards debt and investing and saving for your, to build your net worth.
Right.
And what happens is when their kids get out of daycare or they're done with the college fund or they've paid off their mortgage, most people, if they don't know what their build ratio is or how much of their income back then was going towards savings, the daycare goes towards an RV.
Right.
The mortgage payment goes towards a new cottage.
Yeah.
And basically they're not looking to increase, they're not aware of what percentage of their income goes towards their net worth. Right. So when something like the mortgage payment that includes in your build ratio gets done, if you're not trying to keep the same build ratio going forward, you're not going to allocate any of that income towards saving more, which is kind of what you should be doing.
Right.
Maybe not all of it, but part of it. Yeah. So the way I've I'm trying to battle that is to say, bring into awareness this thing called a build ratio, where it's once you've done your kind of financial checkup, you're aware that, okay, right now I'm saving 15%, like 15 or 20% of what I'm making goes towards my mortgage, getting out of debt, and saving for my RSPs. Yeah. I never want to go below 20%. So when my mortgage is paid, at least 20% of that is going to go in savings.
Right.
And then the other 80%, I can get a new truck, whatever. But I don't want to go below 20%. So I'm trying to introduce stuff like that. Cool. And when it comes to planning, it's like, we can do a projection right now. Right. I can tell you where you're at, where you need to go, how much you need to save, how many years it's going to take, whatever. Like that's easy math, relatively. Mm-hmm. But to say, this is your formula for the next 35 years to reach your goals, you can do it, but all you're really doing is kind of stamping a moment in time in what this should work. Right. But I'd rather have the conversations ongoing and do these snapshots as I work with clients. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So to your point, I think a lot of our generation is going to do it that way. And there's also other entrepreneurs where they're just all in on their businesses. Okay. And they're like, you know what, I'll look at that when the dust settles, or like I'm just doubling down on my stuff. That's a lot of people I work with. That's what they do. They just like doubling down on business. I'm reinvesting in my business. I'm investing in myself. Okay. And maybe I'm not doing the cookie cutter retirement plan. Yeah. But they're still building assets. They're still building their net worth. So I think everybody has their formula. Yeah. And it's case by case. That's how I take it. I want to build a way that's can be adapted to everybody's lifestyle, right? I feel less crazy now. Yeah. I had a good conversation with my parents. One conversation with me, dude, we're all set. Pressure off. Everybody go see Onvisor now. Book. In terms of what Lumar has been kind of working on this year, is there any new stuff popping up on your? Are you going how's the whole smart business going? Like are people doing more? Are you doing solar energy, windmills?
Our smart space division, we call it. So it's anything, smart homes or, but we thought you can buy a Ring setup and install it in your own home, and you just follow the steps on your app, right? Yeah. Super simple, cameras, security alarm systems, etc. So for the homes, unless you want something customized. So we do a lot of smart lighting. So our Lutron systems.
Yeah.
We have here.
Which we have here, which I control the lights from my place. You can do schedules, scenes, or whatever, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we do a lot of that in custom homes. But really where it took off is we do door access camera systems for our multi-unit clients.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
So most of the times we ran the wires for X company.
And
They
then
came
they
and
would
installed the cameras.
right.
So now we're like, hey, client A, we can do everything from point A to point. So you don't have to schedule the camera guy, make sure that we ran all the wires and that everything was done, because the general contractor makes sure that everything. So now it's like, no, we'll do your door access, we'll install it with your. We'll run the wires, we'll run the power supply, we'll do the control wiring, we'll set it up, we'll train you, and we'll show you everything. So now we do 90% of all our multi-units, door access, and camera systems, we do them ourselves.
Yeah, yeah.
So that really took off, and we're really, separating that business. So we even do apartment buildings that we don't do the wiring for. We do
You're doing the cameras
the
too.
cameras or door access, right? And so a lot of apartment buildings now have keyless entries, right?
Yeah.
And that's really developing into a big thing. So you can look at your front lobby through, the tenant can see who's calling them to open the door. So that thing is really developing, and the multi-unit obviously is growing.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of the smart space stuff we're doing right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lumar, it's the construction market's been growing. The service and maintenance is always growing and booming.
Are you seeing a lot, are you still seeing a lot of projects in the, just when you drive around, the thing that you're always seeing is like, oh, look, new multi-unit in this area. Do you still see a lot of residential?
Residential is booming as well.
Okay. Yeah. So just overall.
Yeah. It's every sector is really growing in the real estate right now, and next year is looking even bigger. We're now in PEI too. We got an office in PEI. We landed a couple larger projects, trying to scale the service and maintenance side of things. And looking to expand the territories. So
how many staff now?
Just over 100.
No way.
Yeah.
Like a small community.
Yeah, it's pretty legit. Christmas party was fun.
Party was fun.
Where did you do the
Hilton Garden Inn downtown? So we rented the event space there, and then we actually a lot of people stayed at the hotel.
Nice.
So it was great.
Because that's like I think we're close to like 275 employees, and you can only do that, the Delta, and like the casino. Right. That's it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
right.
It's small pickings when you get to the bigger ones, right? So
yeah,
you could do an outdoor Stoke.
Yeah, right in December there.
We're hoping to do a festival, an outdoor festival here.
Cool.
Would be cool.
Music.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be cool to plan more events. For sure.
We're working with we do a lot of stuff with Johnny at Outdoor Element.
Yeah.
Shout out to John.
Yeah.
We do a lot of cool stuff with them. They help us out. We have snowshoes for our guests here. They provided those for us. We're looking to do more and more with them. So, our brands are aligned, our lifestyles are aligned, we're all about being outdoors and are encouraging our guests to spend time outdoors. So I think we'd like to do something cool this summer there. So keep your eyes open for something.
Sweet. Well, guys, it was an absolute pleasure. Hopefully next year we'll do round 3.
Round 3.
All right, more viewers this time. We
need more. We need 100,000 this time.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll be doing it in one of the new pods, or even
we'll do that.
could do a summer edition, do it like on outside or something like that.
Yeah,
so that'd be cool.
Bonfire edition.
Bonfire edition. Nice. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no
man.
problem, guys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
And cut.